Fucking email. Not with the Illuminati. Goddamn Nigerians. This is Magister Bill M from RadioFreeSatan.com, and you're listening to the Devil You Know podcast.
All right.
Well, I'm not in the chair, so we're not rolling.
Fuck.
Wow.
Robert, you got your brakes on, or?
Nah.
Quiet on the set. All right.
Camera rolling.
Jesus. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 88, The Devil You Know, and another Circle of Jerks. What's up, John?
Waka waka waka.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
Those are sound effects. Nothing much, man. Let's introduce this panel of amazing human beings we got joining us tonight.
Yes. Tonight we've got the wonderful, the vivacious, the voracious, the ferocious Heather Height, everyone.
And other V words.
Hello. We've got, besides me and you, Dorian and Adam Roberts, we've got Robert Leuthold.
How y'all doing?
What's up, man?
Also with us, joining us tonight for the very first time, Will Tull.
What's up?
What's up, man?
All right.
Please.
And last but not least, Lorcan Black,
Hello, hello.
who doesn't sound like R2-D2 tonight. That's great. How's everybody doing? Good? All right.
Fantastic.
What do we got going on first?
Oh, well, let's see. Let's talk about some stuff that I don't know. I think you and I noticed. I'm sure everyone in here notices in different aspects of their life. I'm talking about copycats. We're talking about when you do something great, or at least you think it's great, and apparently somebody else does because they try to do the exact same thing right after you.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, maybe you have a show idea, suddenly somebody,
Gets wind of
somewhere
that and does
nearby gets wind, yeah. Or, a certain guest on your show, or maybe you had an idea for a painting and somebody else, you said something on Facebook and before you know it, they did it, or a TV show, something, How many of you guys have had something, a joke? There you go. That's probably a really good one, I would imagine. Heather, I would assume that's probably fairly common in the comedy industry, huh?
Yes, it is. They're
Some
called
people
hackers.
make careers on that. I mean, yeah, like
It's
look
gotta
at
it's gotta be
Amy
hard
Schumer.
to know who, how do you find out, where it actually originated from?
There are now the only story, because nobody steals my jokes, but there was a comic that I know who did a bit for years, and then a more famous comic started doing it and actually sent her a cease and desist to stop doing the joke because it was hers now.
Wow.
Kidding. So, I mean, do you publish a joke? How does that work?
Yeah, how do you prove that?
You really can only prove something if, it's kind of like we had a comic come to the place where I started doing comedy in PA, and then for the next week there was one of our open micers who started doing one of his bits at the open mics, and then we all reported back to the more famous comic, this is just another case, so it's kind of like a word of mouth, or if you recorded yourself doing it, then you have precedence. But what sucks is that if you have a bit and then another comic does it and they're famous and they do it on TV, you're fucked. Now, because you can't just go on stage and go, okay, I know you heard this joke by Brian Regan, but it's really mine and here it is,
Yeah.
Now, does that
Hold it.
have to be like really specific though? Like, I mean, if something comes up in the news, you know, and everyone sees it, there's a good chance that a lot of comics may kind of find the same humor in it. So does it come down to like really specifics in the joke?
It's usually specifics. Like if it's obviously parallel thinking, then
Yeah.
that's different. If it's something topical, you know, that's an understood that people are going to come up with the same stuff. But if it's something really good, like there was a controversy with Dane Cook and Louis C.K. doing a bit. But what happens is a lot of these comics hang out.
Yeah.
And they kind of roll over, you know, and Dane Cook and Louis C.K. were buddies. So, like, that's almost like joke development. And who thought of the idea first if you're all sitting around talking about it?
Right.
The guy who runs the club in PA had a joke about finding a pubic hair while showering in their friend's bathroom. Like, you know, staying in a friend's house and, you know, you see a pubic hair on the soap. And he was good friends with...
That's when you wash your face first.
Yeah, he was good friends with Seinfeld, who has a famous bit about the pubic hair on the wall. And they, you know, so they probably were sitting around talking about it, and they come up with different bits about this, but it's pretty much the same joke, you know?
Right.
I mean, pubic hair is funny no matter who you are. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're talking about. Pubic hair is just funny. I mean,
And just universally so.
yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys ever hear like Joe Rogan talking about this. He's like on a crusade. Like he talks about intellectual property. Like if someone steals a song or a movie or something like that, they get fucking crucified. But you know, like comics, that they go up on stage. Like who's he? He had like a huge beef with the Hispanic
Yeah, he
Carlos
did like
Mencia.
a documentary about it.
Yeah, Carlos Mencia like went after him and like, you know, called him out. And, you know, Carlos Mencia at the time was making a bunch of money and he's like the big dick in the fucking room, so nobody would call him on it. Like he stole a bunch of jokes from like Ari Schaefer and like a bunch of other guys, and they'd be sitting right there and they wouldn't call him on it until Joe Rogan like literally at I think the Apollo Theater like fucking got a mic from one of the guys and got up on stage with Carlos Mencia and just fucking called him out in front of everybody. And
He
like,
kind of was the first person to push through this barrier of silence that we kind of all had, you know,
Right.
because that would happen a lot.
he's in your face, you know. Most comics I know are like, you know, they're mild or they're cynical or they're just like whatever, but Joe Rogan, you don't want to fuck with that guy, man.
No way.
Yeah, I think that
Now I know
So-
similar kind of things happen in music. Obviously, like, you know, rock music, people can rip off a riff, or at least it seems like that. I mean, when it comes to being influenced by, you know, like take heavy metal for example. I think Rob Zombie said that every cool riff has already been written by Black Sabbath, and everybody else has ripped it off and slowed it down, reversed it. But it's the same riffs. There's only so many notes on a guitar, so I mean, I can see how, you know, it might be hard sometimes to come up with something original these days.
A good case in point with that is Nirvana's "Come As You Are" and Killing Joke's "80s."
Yeah.
Yeah, but in all honesty, there's not a whole lot of originality left. So I think success comes from the delivery. I mean, me as a musician, I really try and write riffs that just don't sound like anything else. And it seems like every musician I talk to, no matter how hard you try, there's always somebody who can identify what you just wrote with somebody in the past. So it's
They can pull
extremely
the
hard.
influence out. Yeah, they can hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, then hip hop made an art form out of sampling,
Sure.
So-
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and repurposing other people's famous riffs.
Kids are making millions of dollars doing that shit, playing it for fucking raves. You plug in their iPod of their, you know, remix of this and their sample of that, and yeah, they're making a killing doing it. So I mean, maybe they're onto something. I guess maybe
Is
maybe
that
we're the ones
legitimate
that
though,
are.
or are they
Hip hop,
ripoffs?
it's only been around 40 years. It might be on. They might be onto something.
No, some sampling is legal. I mean, you can do that. If you're going to make money off of it, though, you've got to pay royalties. But sampling is legal.
So I guess the way to save it, was with the comedy thing is if people know about it, or if you have it, you have it recorded or something like that. So I guess we're golden then, right, Dorian? Because
pretty much,
you could look
yeah.
on Facebook
Yeah.
and see when we announce a guest, and then look on this other person's and go, oh yeah, and in the same order.
I guess, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it all comes down to the timestamp. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're golden.
I mean, it's hard to come to terms with it all being, accidental. So
If it was accidental, there would only be like one or maybe two, not 9.
Well, as the guy that books all the talent that comes on the show, I think it's kind of funny. I laugh every time I see it. I'm like, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
Is this
So
the-
then, do we still look at this as flattery? As they're obviously think that we're so onto something, or in any of these cases, whether that be music or comedy. I mean, obviously, when it comes to making a living at it, like as music or as a comedian, then it can be damaging, obviously. But at what point do you just go, well, whatever, it's funny. He obviously, this person's jealous or.
It was funny
Well,
at first. It's now pitiful. But go ahead.
when it honestly, when it comes to like these shows, like when it comes to interviews, if I see the same guests on multiple shows, I mean, I'll tune into all the shows. It's every person who's hosting a show is going to ask different questions. So, hopefully they're going to ask different questions.
I would hope.
So-
Yeah.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be cool to have somebody on this show and then maybe 3 months later that guest is on another show? That'd be kind of cool.
Well, no, I get that. But
It's a little strange when it's the day after they're booking the exact same guests in the same
but I
order.
mean, think of it this way: it's just like CNN and Fox News and all this other horse shit. Usually when you've got a hot guest or something, they bounce from channel to channel. And so it's not much different here.
Yeah, you see them on Good Day LA, and then they're closing out Letterman later in the week. I guess that's just if they're hot, they're hot. I guess. So.
That's right.
Huh.
So you're booking people with like movies to plug, or
No.
Yeah, right.
Exactly, Heather.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. That's
Totally.
I don't know.
Totes
Hey,
with
you
goats.
never know. What do we know? I mean, who knows?
Well, and I mean,
what's the next
at
topic?
the end of the day, a copycat's going to be seen as a copycat. I mean, the quality products always come out, generally on top in the end.
Yeah.
But it's not really a concern. But it sucks to have to fight it the whole time. That's for fucking sure.
Well, I look at
As
it from
long as
this
you're first.
standpoint.
Yeah.
I
We're
look at it
first.
from-
I think that's a point, though. Like I think the perspective that maybe can draw some concern is, let's say the comedian has been established much longer, and people have known that comedian in that business, and then some new comedian is coming up and is doing well, and all of a sudden the older comedian who's more established is starting to do the same jokes. Are people immediately going, like, how do you tell which one's the quality, or who's the... That's kind of what we're, I think,
yeah.
in our situation.
Right.
It sucks.
Well, and like you said, 1 or 2 times, I mean, yeah, it's like a coincidence. Like with comedians, it's like how many fart jokes are there, or how many fucking guys are going to talk about masturbating. It's like not one guy has a lock on fucking, dick jokes. But when, like John was saying, when it's 9 times, when it's 10 times, when it's like literally the day after.
In a row.
I mean,
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
in a row, yeah, it draws a strange set of coincidences that would bring that about. That's for sure.
Yeah, I call it
but
obsession.
like
call it
I
obsession.
said, if as long as they're asking different questions, think it from my standpoint, I wanted to have a show of my own on Holier Than Thou. I started it up. I'm still kind of at a standstill, but I would absolutely go after a lot of the same guests that you or would all go after. But I'm going to go out of my way to ask different questions because I want to get a broader spectrum of the person that's
But
being interviewed.
would you do it in the same order?
No, I mean, absolutely not. I get that. I do get that. If it is going in the same order, then I can see
Yeah.
it does look a little strange. But,
I've got to bleep out all the things you mentioned, but I hear you. Well, yeah, that's cool.
Will you ask your final question of what does Satan mean to you?
Yeah, what? Wait, what? Has somebody done that?
no, I would say, what do you mean to Satan?
Yeah. That's funny.
I would just
pretty
steal
sure that
Amy Pitt's answer to that.
Pretty sure everybody asks that, don't they?
They do now. All right. Speaking of other stupid things, what's going on with this stupid white girl trying to act like she's black? The one that looks like Miley Cyrus on meth. You guys know who I'm talking about.
With like the tin foil on her teeth and shit like that.
She just got gold foil on her teeth or something. She can't close her mouth when she talks.
All I have to say is I watched that. That's 30 seconds of my life I'll never get back. I guess she's part of the wrong skin movement. I guess she was, pulling the wrong race or something. I don't know.
She'd probably do well with the Gimp Pimp. That's just what she needs right there. She just needs a heavy hand.
Nah, not my thing. Well, I mean...
Somebody have to lift it up for him and smack her, and
I mean, if she's a black person in a white person's body, she's fine before Labor Day.
How is that?
Or is it after Labor Day?
How's that possible?
She's trans race. I mean, can't you be trans everything these days?
Yeah.
she claims she found out she's 25% black with that whatever 23andMe or whatever.
Yeah, her brain.
I think the more serious problem with this is how did she get so well known? It ain't by her abilities.
Okay,
it's by the rest of us idiots sharing it on Facebook. We're like, oh, I gotta watch this. Hey, did you see this? And
we fucking
somehow here we are talking. We're talking about our show for fuck's sake.
It's a car crash. It's a car crash,
Train wreck.
man. Yeah,
So she's 25%, right?
Yeah.
that's her mind.
She just went on a dating site and had a couple of dates, and of course she's got a little bit of black in her.
Oh.
Wow.
You scraped that one up from the bottom of the barrel, bro.
You only need 20% to get benefits from the government as a Native American.
Yep.
I was just gonna say, is this like the Jewish legacy thing, where if you're 25% Jewish, you're guaranteed reparation stuff? Is that what she's like? I don't think they have a thing for that.
She should get her.
colored folks.
Listen, motherfucker. She should get her 40 acres and a mule.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Y'all motherfuckers don't know.
Do I have to bring Lobar out again?
You may. Anyway.
That's the only thing I know about her was that she's unable to close her mouth when she talks. So.
Yeah, she's got like an underbite.
There's some
I think it's all the
definite
shit on
mental
her teeth.
illness.
Not an underbite.
One at a time. What's up?
Oh, I said there's some definite mental illness going on there.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, I think she's 25% black and like 50% bulldog. I think that's why the underbite. And then, yeah. It's like
I
one of
don't
those
think it's
Looney
fair to call
Tunes
white
bulldogs.
trash.
Say
I don't
again?
think it's fair to call white trash a mental disability. That's not right.
I don't know. There's inbreeding in white trash. Could be.
When did it
Hey,
become
I
cool to
happen
be
to
retarded?
be white trash. All right.
Right.
Speaking
So,
of
yeah.
white, okay. I'm going to segue into this. Speaking of white trash, let's talk about Trump not allowing trans to be in the military. What?
Well, the thing about that is he just tweeted it, and then the whole world went fucking batshit. Tweeting something, even if you're the president, doesn't make it a law.
Oh, it's not a law? I don't know.
No, it's not a law.
I don't pay attention to that.
Well,
crap.
my thing is, what doesn't he tweet?
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, he really has. He's gotten completely out of control with that. I mean, at first, when he tried to justify it as a modern form of communication, especially for young people, I did kind of see that, but now it's completely out of hand. He's taken it to such a childish level, and now it's just sickening. So.
Well, especially anytime he tweets something about saying, well, hey, I did this and they loved it, or, Boy Scouts of America just said I gave the greatest speech they ever heard, and then they reply with, no, we didn't. That keeps happening to him. He keeps tweeting things that he did or that somebody says he did great, and then that person retweets it and says, no, we didn't say that.
Well,
that's a problem.
This administration is going after colleges to sue them for discriminating against white people. This was like a New York Times article, like a real news.
Oh, shit.
Well,
you are fake news.
How could you discriminate against white people? I thought only white people are racist.
Affirmative action. He's calling affirmative action discrimination. His administration is.
Huh.
And they're saying that colleges discriminated against white people through affirmative action, which is just wacko like to do. I guess he's already president, so what does he care if he's popular or not?
Well, but now
make
there's something to be said about that.
Again.
Like I can understand the need for affirmative action, but aren't you then not necessarily, like when it comes to affirmative action in the workplace, granted, we have to do that because too many employers are racist, but you're then not necessarily picking the right person for the job. You're picking someone based on color. So then you could say affirmative action to an extent can be racist.
Yeah.
But then again, we also see the need for it too.
I don't know any white people that can't get into a college if they're eligible.
You're right. I'm just saying, like as far as affirmative action goes.
I'm not saying that the idea is crazy. I'm saying it's crazy to do what they're doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Honestly, maybe if you didn't have to identify yourself as what race you were, even on a job application, I think that's absurd.
But you don't really have to.
I know, but when I used to work. Well, I'll just say I used to work for Target, and I opened a store, and we had to hire hundreds of people. And if according to our supervisors, if that box wasn't checked, we threw that application in the trash.
That's illegal.
Yeah,
yes, it was absolutely ridiculous.
What's your supervisor's name?
No, I don't work for them anymore. No. But it was things like that.
Right? Where do you live?
No, we're good now. But but I think a lot of employers do that. They've got that box there, and if you have to check whether you're white, black, Hispanic, and I think that's crazy. What does that matter? You put your list of skills, and you make your judgment based on that. Who cares if you're white, black, or fucking purple? It's just stupid.
Well, the reason it's there is because of the affirmative action.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy.
That's all of this stuff kind of like we can look at it as it ought to be this way, but it's not. Affirmative action is in place because it ought to be you pick the best man for the job, but too many employers weren't doing that. They were only picking white people.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Why
they didn't just pull that shit out of a hat and start saying, okay, go out in the street and pick the first colored guy, just pick him and bring him in, give him a job, No, you're right. There was a need. So obviously it's something that had to happen. And, just like was said earlier, the idea that calling an action like that inherently racist, I think is in fact the most ridiculous part, and really frames up this whole administration, like this whole thing just perfectly. I mean, the fact that they are going out, they're creating problems against things that were designed to solve the problems they are creating in the first place. I mean,
I didn't mention this before we went on air, but I caught it like yesterday. There was an internal there was an internal memo at Google where this guy was saying that women were not suited for tech jobs or whatever. And
that's right. I read about that this morning. That's right.
The guy got fired for it, but it was a very sexist memo and everything else.
Memo out to the company?
Yeah, no, it was an internal memo, at Google where a guy was saying that women are just genetically not programmed to do software development and programming.
No
Wow.
pun
Like,
intended.
And that they don't need to have such a liberal bias at Google, and they have to be fair to conservatives, and they shouldn't be hiring people of color and things like that.
He should have picked one topic and maybe expounded upon that, and then wormed his way into the rest of the racist stuff.
No,
that
he
was
just carpet
Start
bombed.
small and work your way up.
It was
Professor
like a 10-page memo though.
Like a manifesto,
Wow.
like, yeah.
If you write a 10-page memo, you're a crazy person. That's what that is.
Right.
He's a crazy person.
maybe he-
That's
Obsessed much.
Well, maybe he knew he was going to get fired, so he figured, fuck it, I'll just write a really long memo and get
Going out
all of
big.
my feelings out.
He was on the way out anyway, yeah. Like,
writing his manifesto.
Pick the
And
word
then he's
up and
gonna-
I'm gonna drop it on your fucking head.
and then he's gonna go shoot up a tech college or
I
something.
was going to say, yeah, he's going to go postal now. That's why.
That's not funny, but it's
Quick, let Porn know
That
so
was
they can
hilarious.
work it into their act.
that's right, yeah.
Well, let's segue right into privilege then.
Privilege.
There is no
Privilege.
such thing. I don't care what anybody says. There is no such thing as white privilege.
Explain that.
I'm white. I am by no means privileged. I've had more African American. I've had more black supervisors and bosses than white. I don't make more money than black people.
Are you more likely to get pulled over by a cop?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh my! If I can't count how many times I've been pulled over by a cop, by white cop. I mean, it's not.
I mean, I'm not accusing anything. I'm just asking. Like that would be.
No,
like
but I'm
a
saying
point.
I just don't. In my experience, I just don't see it. And I live out here in the sticks, where you would think that there's a bunch of hillbillies out here who are just out for black people. But I mean, and I work in law enforcement. I don't see it.
On the radio.
I'd like to offer a counter to that, and not to jump, not to like disagree, but just an idea of privilege.
Sure. Yeah.
I think-
Bring it up.
I think privilege is super real in that everybody, every walk of life, every geographical and genetic makeup has a place of privilege somewhere in this world. Like I was saying before the call started, I mean, it just so happens that this day and age, the media perception is that white folks have a better time getting jobs, hence the affirmative action thing. White people have an easier time with police officers. That's I mean, the scuttlebutt these days. Disagree or agree or whatever. But then again, there are situations where people, like, say, if I'm 6'4", I'm like about as I'm half Filipino, half Scandinavian. I go to Norway, they're not going to blink an eye. Everything's going to be just fine. I go to the Philippines, I'm going to have a problem getting a job and getting an apartment and things like that because I'm not of the local makeup. Everybody has their bias. And I think that privilege is real, just it rotates, or people get certain privileges that other people want, and that's when it becomes the problem, is that people can't get the things that they want because of those systemic problems that we're talking about that create affirmative action. I mean, it's I think it is real, and I think it is one of those things that it's not necessarily a bad thing. We use it like a dirty word. It's just situational and it's circumstantial, and everybody gets a chance to have their day or their place of privilege.
So
if
when you're
they don't
saying,
have it.
you're
Okay,
saying
I've
what
got
you're
it.
saying
I've
is real
got-
quick.
I've
Hold on, Logan. What you're saying real quick is, I got me and my buddies. We're riding our motorcycles around. We're all white, and well, one of them black, but he doesn't go with us all the time. Anyway, we're white. We go into a neighborhood that's probably not so great, and they yell for all of us to get out of there. That's because we're not black, right? If we were black, we'd have a privilege.
Correct. Yeah, that's in essence that. Yeah.
Yeah. What are you eating?
I'm having a mint. You want one?
Well, case
Can't get through one damn show.
It's a fucking mint.
case in point of systemic privilege, my special parking spaces.
Yeah, there we go.
Ah.
Well, where I've experienced it is and it's the same thing. Once you get to be a middle-aged woman, like you can see it one way or another. Like there's a little bit of invisibility that you gain, which I consider to be an advantage. Like I could rob a bank, and and just smile and totter out of there. Like there's a lot of I'm overlooked a lot, and I never have a problem.
Yeah, we couldn't pick you out of a lineup. Yeah, no way.
Middle-aged white woman, I just I could just skate on by. I've had cops.
Well, and isn't that? I mean, on a we are a satanic podcast. I mean, isn't that what a Satanist does? A Satanist doesn't. They use what they have to their advantage. They don't whine about life's not fair. We know it's not fair. You're not going to change it with your thoughts. So figure out how to operate in the world exists instead of the world you wish existed.
Precisely.
Go ahead, Heather. I'll go after you.
We were in like a high alert because of something that happened. I don't know if something blew up or somebody threatened to blow something up or whatever. So the subways were packed with cops, and I was going to. You could go to the different thrift stores in the city and sell your clothes, like old clothes. So I figured I'd give it a try, and I packed a rolling suitcase. It's actually like a rolling duffel bag, and I'm walking through the subways of New York City with a rolling duffel bag while we're on high alert, and they should have checked my bag. And I saw like more than once a group of cops standing there, and they kind of like made them like they were going to stop me, and then just smiled and waved at me, and that's totally like oh, she's harmless.
You could have had a nail bomb in there, and they would have never known. Yeah.
But honestly, a lot of cops and a lot of officials do go by, because it's burned into their heads, statistics. And honestly, as a white woman, you are very unlikely to do something. Now, it's not that white women don't do things, but you're very unlikely. So they do base on statistics. They base their trust on that too. And I mean, think of it.
Profile. Like, we'll just call it statistics.
Well, I mean, honestly,
they exist for a reason, though, right?
No, but call it what you want. But even in my briefings, we're given how many blacks have committed how many crimes, and how many whites, and how many Hispanics, and the level of the crime. And if you look at it statistically, I mean, African Americans are only 13 or 14% of the population, but they commit about 50% of the murder. So just by that, cops are on higher alert with black males because they are more likely to harm them than a white male or a white woman. Even though there are more white males killed by cops than black males.
I don't think it's a skin thing. They try to make it out as that. I think it's an economic thing.
Well, I mean,
and certainly a geographical thing. Like, you can't compare certain areas of the country to other certain areas of the country. Like,
no, you that's absolutely true. I mean, if your area is more violent, then of course.
Yeah.
But,
or more poor, more poverty-stricken.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yes, but honestly, if you're I am one of the kind of people who I don't believe in excuses. If you are in a poverty-stricken area, get out. I don't see, if you've got nothing to lose, going into a life of crime because that's all that's around you is just absurd. Get in your car, go somewhere else, make a better life for yourself.
Well, that's easy to say. I mean, shit, I couldn't really afford to go somewhere else right now, and I have a job. I mean, it's easy to say get in your car and go somewhere else. I mean, shit, you're talking about people who they can't. Some of them, well, a lot of them don't even have cars, much less can they afford the gas to move somewhere. Get a down payment on a. Get a down payment on the rent on somewhere. Get a job in that other place. I mean, telling people to just move from your area if it's crime ridden, it's not that simple.
But I'm talking about the people. Wait a minute. I'm talking about the people who say that they had nothing else that they could do but rob people. Those are the people that have nothing to lose. If they have nothing to do but rob people, then they can go somewhere else and try and invest that time and energy and to making a good life for themselves. That is the worst thing
join
I
the
can.
Peace Corps or fucking Job Corps or some shit. Yeah, go travel and fucking go do some fucking humanitarian effort or some shit. If you got nothing to lose, I hear you on that. Go fucking join the French Foreign Legion for all I give a fuck. Just go do
Well,
something.
I'm sure they're all sitting around listening to our advice right now, but otherwise, let's go back.
They fucking better be.
Kill
They want a
yourself.
better life.
Again, we're back to thinking of what people ought to do versus what they do.
Well, I got something to add to this. So, and you can probably relate, Dorian. I mean, being covered in tattoos and having a shaved head, people tend to profile me. But I have the ability.
You know what? I don't actually have that problem.
I do have that problem actually. I'm cue balled and just like Aryan as can be.
I got a
and
Thor's hammer on my neck, and nobody ever. People are just nice as can be to me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's because you look like Matt Paradise.
Being a Satanist taught me lesser magic. You can change your appearance and change the way somebody addresses you, and I do that daily, and it's real. And if you want to walk around looking like a thug and you walk into a bank, you're going to get profiled, or looking like you're up to no good in the subway, you're going to get profiled. That's just the way it is. And might is right, and stratification is actually happening. So.
Right. And that's why I don't that's why I don't get profiled too much, is because I don't present myself as as some menacing thug. I present myself as a fat guy with tattoos. So
I don't either.
Can I interject real quick?
Hells yes.
Well, fine. Be it that way.
Right, go ahead.
John, you brought up lesser magic a little while ago, and I wanted to bring this up, and I'm not bragging about it, but for me, the wheelchair is my lesser magic tool. I don't use it to get people to feel sorry for me. People never think. No one ever expects the guy in the wheelchair. And that's when I always come back and kick ass.
That's why I usually use a wheelchair too.
Yeah.
That's why you want to have
crutches.
But
I said lesser magic, not less magic. But go ahead.
Oh.
Case in point, right after my excuse me a minute, my hip was hurting. That's what that is.
Is it your kickstand?
No, not that one. But
well, ladies and gentlemen, Hydra M star.
Oh, hey,
oh, Hydra, how you doing?
Oh man.
Oh, I hear Robert.
Oh no.
he's in the middle of a thought.
He don't miss a good circle jerk, I tell you. Any excuse to whip it out.
That's funny. We were talking
Hydra.
about his kickstand. That's
Hello.
great.
So who else am I talking to?
Lorcan Black, Tull, Adam Roberts, Dorian Gray, John Shaw, Heather Haight, and Robert Leuthold.
And Jesus.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
And
so Jesus.
so we've covered a lot of topics already, but you're coming in at the tail end of our white/black/purple privilege thing, and we're about to move into
or male privilege, or
as soon as Robert finishes his thought, we're going to move into cultural appropriation or some shit. Robert?
Okay, as I was saying, when I was under anesthesia and everything after my surgery happened, I wake up and I'm like $500 or $600 in the hole, so I'm scrambling No, I ended up in the red, and I had no idea this was going on because I was in a drug-induced coma for 2 days.
Bitches weren't paying that money. That's what's happening.
I had,
a drug-induced coma he texted me from constantly.
which you were actually able to decipher, funny enough.
I'm an editor. What do you expect?
You should have got more dick pics out of him.
I tried.
He's got to take it in 2 shots. It doesn't fit in one camera shot.
The 360 camera, yeah.
You got to stitch it.
He's got to wait. He's got to wait for the Google Earth satellite to go over.
As you were saying, Robert.
Poor guy.
I know.
He loves it.
It's the wheelchair. We keep rolling over him with it. Go ahead.
if you'll pardon the pun, I had to think on my feet, and I had to use crowdfunding to get caught up. And, of course, people who we will not name decided to give me shit about it. But what are you going to do when you're faced with losing your house? It's not like I can go down the street and suck dick.
Sure you
Good.
could.
Yes, you can.
You're already at the right height.
I thought that's why
That's
you
what
grew the
Facebook
mustache.
Live is for.
You're a fetish. Robert, you're really selling yourself short on the dick sucking.
While
Good
we're
job.
at it, kind of segueing since Heather mentioned sex.
Ooh.
Did she?
Disabled people are kind of desexualized. For all of my joking around about it, a lot of times we're seen as like subhuman. People
You're like
think,
a cyborg.
But you're more
Nah.
like a dom human, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I
There's
like
a
that
fetish
one.
for
But, Hydra and I have had discussions about relationship dynamics and all, so she knows where I'm going with that. It's very hard in my situation. Oh boy, I left myself open for that one, didn't I? It's hard in my situation to have anyone really see me in a sexual manner because people look at the chair and they automatically think I'm dead below the waist.
Hey, Robert, can you just say hard one more time?
Yeah, say hard one more time. Say it one more goddamn time.
One more time.
Okay, before you guys do that, get the wet naps ready and then I'll say it.
I'm already
Ew.
done. I don't know about.
Well, you know, Robert, one good sex tape will clear this whole problem up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look,
true.
Hydra, we know that you're trying to get me to do the shower tape with Gregory, so
Of course.
Well, Heidi, all you got to do is get up with Mr. Harris. We can set this up.
Yeah, we've been trying to get Robert on film for a while now.
See, me and Heather are both trying to get him on film.
Robert,
Yeah.
you want people to see you as a sexual creature? Well, it sounds like you got your chance here, man.
Yeah. There's
Wow,
offers
wow.
all around.
my rates start at $350.
You're gonna
Shut
pay
up.
us $350? Excellent.
Shit,
No,
I'd
no,
pay that.
that's $3.50.
That's right. Ladies and gentlemen,
Am I-
I believe we're being. Yeah, okay. Someone else is coming in. His name is Raul Atondo.
Oh shit.
Late to the party. Raul, are you there? Raul?
Hello.
Yep, there you are. There you
there
are.
he is.
We were just talking about cultural appropriation. What are your thoughts on that? Being a Chinese Mexican, how does that work for you?
I would love to pretend I'm an expert on this, but I want to say just a big fuck you to cultural appropriation.
Oh, okay.
Like I don't.
But I didn't say cholo appropriation. I said cultural.
Oh.
What did you? Why do you say that?
Well, cultural appropriation. What, making things happen the way they're supposed to be? So idealism? Like, I don't think so. Who cares?
They do.
Everything. It's supposed to be around doing things to make nice with other people around the playground. And if that's the case, then so for me it's saying the word fuck. So some people don't want you to say that word anywhere, pick X. But if that's the case, then you're not meant to live in the real world. And if that's the case, then you're too fucking weak to be on planet Earth.
And
Yeah.
yet, there's millions of them.
I want to play in that sandbox right there.
Then I hope they all accidentally fall off a cliff, because it's the real world.
Accident.
I actually have
love-
on this.
I love how
All right.
I love how we went from Rob. I love how we went from Leuthold's sex life to this just instantaneously.
That's how it happens.
Yeah, that's what
Heather,
we were
Called a
talking about
segue.
all along.
Heather has a thought.
We're
Heather?
masters of segue.
Well, my thoughts on this, at least as far as America goes, I don't know about like maybe Western Europe, is that the only culture that is okay to kind of to parody or make fun of or bitch about is white culture. So if none of the other cultures are okay for us to talk about, make fun of, parody, copy, then the only thing anybody's ever going to be able to be is white. So you're just you're literally, by acting offended every time somebody wears an Indian headdress or has a fucking like Japanese tea party, is that the only thing it's going to be okay to be is white.
That's why I'm always offended by people who wear skirts, because they're just making fun of my Scottish heritage.
Yeah, there you
Hate
go.
that.
So
You
you're
can take
white
it back,
washing
Dorian. Start wearing
everything.
skirts. You can take it back.
I don't like when people
Right.
drink alcohol because they're just making fun of my Irish and Indian heritage.
For now.
But I'm doing that right
Yeah,
now.
right.
They are white men.
Or when people die of alcohol poisoning, then they're
I mean,
making fun of-
is it just a generation of people who just have to complain about things today? Is that just
Yeah.
the way people are? Like, they're not like there's not enough real problems, so they have
What-
to kind of find something to complain about.
Everybody has a bullhorn and everybody has a soapbox now with social media and everything. So yeah. If you
Kinda
don't have
like-
anything wise or cool to say, you just get offended about what other people are doing.
Kind of like us with the
I
show.
hate that word. I really hate that. Every time somebody says the word offended, my fucking ass just clenches up. I mean, I think that is the worst word in
Offensive.
the English language. It's people use that word so much, and it just irks my nerves. I'm offended. Who gives a fuck? Be offended.
So you're saying you're offended?
I'm offended at people being offended. Hell yeah.
I'm offended at
Awesome.
being offended.
That's right.
Yeah.
What are you, a parrot? All right. So
There's a
Nailed
cop.
it, though. Will nailed it. Everybody's got a soapbox now, and everybody feels the need to join a fucking cause, and it's annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
yeah.
My only cause is that NASA finally comes up with a bottomless coffee pot. That's it.
NASA?
Why would NASA
Of all
be working
With
on
NASA.
Yeah. Call Folgers.
Wait, speaking of NASA, though, didn't I just read something about NASA coming up with a age reversing pill?
Yeah.
Yeah, they started testing that. I did hear that. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah.
No, thank you.
Wait,
Yeah.
so
What
wait,
is-
you,
Well, I
you
would
reach
say,
40.
if anything,
What-
it's probably not reversing as much as slowing down the
Right.
cells.
I mean,
that
if it
sucks.
stops things
I'm all
like
for it.
degenerative brain diseases like Alzheimer's or dementia, like I'm down with that,
Yeah.
But if it's gonna turn like Mr. fucking Rockefeller fucking 15 years old again, no thanks.
No thanks.
Yeah, I don't think it's a fountain of youth. It's just I think it
Yeah.
actually slows down your aging process.
Yeah, I think it winds back the clock on cells or something like that.
Wow.
Would you guys take
Well,
it?
none of us work for NASA,
Of course.
obviously.
I
What
mean,
I
that doesn't sound
I
like
think-
something NASA would be working on. That's strange.
Well,
That
because
is
they need
strange.
people to be in space for
What does
a
that
very
have to
long
do with
time.
space?
Well, they need.
Oh, maybe
yeah.
so they can like
Oh yeah,
fucking
you're right. That's a good point. Yeah.
do the cryo sleep, yeah, and fucking take an age reducing pill and not wake up 1,000 years old. Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, when you're in space, doesn't your aging slow down anyway? I mean, not time wise, but your
No, actually, it's actually
physically.
when your bones actually deteriorate faster.
But I'm saying, like when that Russian, I remember years ago they were talking about it. Some Russian went up and he was up at a space station for a year, and when they came back and tested him, his bone density had gone down. Yeah, but everything else had.
Like his circulatory, his organs were all like, I do remember that. Yeah, his organs were like,
Preserved.
he was like floating in a womb for a whole year. Like,
Yeah, yeah, and they were saying because of the lack of gravity, your body doesn't age like it does here on Earth.
Yeah, gravity sucks. Women know that. Speaking of women, what's going on with this mother shooting heroin behind the courthouse with a 4-year-old kid? Anybody know about that?
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, go to any ghetto in the country. It's probably happening there too.
Yeah, they got video of it at this courthouse in Cincinnati on the security feed. This lady hooks up with this skeezy ass motherfucker. She gives him her phone to watch YouTube on or whatever, and he sits down on the curb. And yeah, like John was saying, she taught him how to tie bunny ears and fucking do like through the whole 2 ears, and mommy's tied off. Like, yeah, there you go.
Wait a minute, the kid tied her off?
No, he doesn't actually do that in the video, but I mean, then at least he would have learned something, right?
It looked like a knot that a kid would do, so we're just speculating.
Yeah. But no, she's up on charges, and it just ties into that whole thing. Like, what the fuck kind of person you got to be to do that in front of your 4-year-old? Like, heroin's not just like, I'm just gonna fucking take a little fucking nod here and then go down to Blockbuster and return my videos. Like, no, you fucking, that's like your day right there, as far as I know. I mean,
yeah, but they shouldn't bring her up on charges though. They should just take the kid and give her more heroin.
There you go. A lot of heroin. Just give her a ton of heroin. Yeah.
Exactly. Let her take her own self out.
There you go.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. What else do we got? I want to talk about
Gully do Willikers.
Murdering the English language. I got this in my notes here.
Ooh, good one.
Yeah, we mean
Double
like
plus.
We don't need to make this personal about Robert.
Double plus.
But you know,
one
like when you
Facebook status, okay? One.
Yeah. Well, what I mean by this though is, the word situation has become sitch. Position is positch. And totally is totes. What are they doing?
Who are you talking to?
I don't know. I mean, my grandparents, they bitched about the slang we used when I was a kid. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it'll last. I don't think this is going to like make it into the dictionary or anything.
Well, I think it's changing so often that it's even hard to like. I will kind of make fun of a younger generation in a post by saying totes, magoats, and then realize that, well, nobody says that anymore. I don't know. It was in a commercial. I thought it was funny, but like you can't even keep up with the way this shit changes now. So like I don't even know why.
It's something that's happened since the dawn of language, and it's, if you look at the etymology of any word, it's changed over the course of time, even in meaning. Like my favorite example that I always use is there's a slang term uptight. The slang term getting uptight, when you're getting angry, and it's kind of, I think it probably, I mean, I didn't look up the etymology of the term uptight, but it probably came from like the 40s, like and the beatniks in the 50s, and the hippies used uptight, and it's shortened now. Now people say you're getting tight instead of uptight.
And that means two totally different things to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but it doesn't, because I'm not 5. So
right.
It's I mean, just in the terms of what this means, not in the terms of somebody being tight.
What about
I've never heard of somebody saying you're getting tight by meaning you're getting uptight. I've never.
I think that's a regional thing. Yeah, like. Yeah.
What about the words like salty? Like I hear that. Like, what? Hey, don't be so salty.
So you say uptight or you say getting tight is regional, and then he has like some kind of fucking pirate talk, and we're all going to agree that that's not regional.
A good example is my kids. Anytime I tell my kids they're using a word wrong, they like to point out that when I say cool, I don't mean temperature, which is a pretty common one for people to use.
I was told to get wrecked today by an 11-year-old. Whatever that means.
Get wrecked.
Get bent.
I hear that.
I was gonna say get bent, get fucked.
Keep on trucking.
Let me just jump in here real quick. I got to duck out for the night, ladies and gentlemen. It was great talking with y'all again.
All right, we'll come back when you can't stay so long.
Whatever.
All right, buddy.
Later,
y'all. Later, man.
That's funny. All right.
But yeah, no,
but honestly, guys, I grew up.
That's ridiculous.
I grew up in the days of Bill and Ted, and my parents used to get on me because I was always saying totally and bogus and gnarly and
Great movie.
Well,
Yeah,
I was
but I
raised
mean-
in Southern California. That's not just a movie. That's a way of life. Like I still say rad. Like, oh my god, that's fucking rad.
hella.
69, dudes!
Hella.
Well,
Hella is
but
a
you
total
know,
California
those,
one.
I think
Yeah.
those slang terms go in and out too. You know, I mean, not everybody's going to use them their entire life.
No.
Mhm.
No.
You know,
I think
everyone comes back.
Even
Comes back.
What, Heather?
Oh my god.
I was talking to my kid.
Oh,
Carry on.
sorry.
Sorry.
No, that's awesome. I got to commend you for that. A lot of mothers don't talk to their kids.
Yeah.
That's like,
I
that's
try
like
not
white
to.
privilege, ain't it?
They just shoot heroin in front of them. Yeah.
So
All
what
right.
is used today will be dead tomorrow.
I think so. I mean,
That's profound.
not a whole lot of people use the same slang terms they did 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Well,
Are the
Also-
words getting shorter? Like, I mean, like John's pointed out, position, stuff like that. Obviously, it's kind of goes from texting,
yeah,
and how we
text
short
message
things to
culture.
text.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
is that coming out? Is that, if that's the case, it may not go away, because I don't think texting is going to go away anytime
No,
soon.
are they gonna have a class instead of cursive writing? Are they gonna teach you how to do like text abbreviations and emojis, shit like that?
Very well may
I
that
could
may
see that.
happen. Actually,
Yeah.
I can see
mean,
that happen.
And in that sense, then we're getting like Orwellian, like the Newspeak stuff, where we're getting rid of non-usable words and just getting right to the heart of the issue, and just
Yeah.
Okay, class.
Well,
Today's lesson. LOL. It means Lucifer, our Lord.
I mean,
Totally.
I think all my life I've seen the English language constantly being streamlined. I mean, everyone wants to make everything faster and more efficient. So they're doing the same thing with speaking and communication. Everything is getting shorter and
Oh, for show. For show.
It's just easy.
They've added literally the figurative term literally to the dictionary now.
Stupid.
yeah.
So now
That
literally
that
doesn't mean
one-
literally. Well, it means
Yeah,
literally
that's
and
what I'm saying is-
literally.
Like, yeah, I never understand why people use that one. Like when they say, "Well, I literally exploded." Like, no, you didn't. I
No, you
get it.
didn't.
You illiterately exploded.
Yeah, one that gets me,
You literally?
You
Hydra will know. One that gets me is when someone's like, "Oh my God, we decimated that team," and it's like, "Really? You took out 1 in 10? Like, yeah, decimated. That's not actually very good." So,
Well, that's
Or what's up?
hyperbole.
We beat 1/10 of them.
yeah, we beat 1/10 of those guys. Or, "Oh my God, it was an epidemic," and so it was focused in one epicenter. It was focused in one area. That's actually not very bad. That's actually reasonably contained. Thank you. Yeah.
Last part, please. Participation trophy.
yeah, but that's also people's need to make everything just dramatically fucking huge and blow everything out of proportion. So
Trying to
We're
use
not talking
$10
about
word.
Robert again. We're not talking about Robert.
Yeah.
I was.
All right, what else we got? We got one more thing here on the list. This girl recommended suicide to her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend or something, and I can't read my own notes here. The stupid guy actually did it. What, everybody knows what that's about?
Yeah.
Or what?
Yeah,
I think our species just got stronger.
Yeah.
This guy, like high school kid, clearly mentally ill, suffered from depression, anxiety, and this chick, I mean, she's pretty cute in that like drown your kid in the bathtub kind of way, but she's like just talked him up for days, for weeks, I think, months maybe even, about like how this is what he needed to do, and she was so bummed out every time he didn't do it. Like there's a whole string of this chick just like getting like. This wasn't no like go kill yourself LOL text. Like no, she's like talking for days. Like the only way you can ever prove you love me is if you do it. And the days when he wouldn't kill himself, she's like, "Oh man, I thought you were gonna like gas yourself with this generator." Like fucking elaborate. Fucking
That's fucked up. That's
like,
really weird, man.
It's really weird. And okay, luckily the guy just killed himself, and so the moral ground there is like, yes, he was fucking weak and he had mental illness and he made the decision. The flip side of that is if she's like, the only way you can prove to love me is if you go shoot up a school. Like, I need you to go shoot up a school.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if he did it,
Yeah.
she would be like Charles Manson, like on the other side.
How old are these people? How old is this couple?
16-ish, 16 range, like 15,
Damn.
16. Like, yeah, like
Yeah.
young, horny as fuck, depressed as fuck. Like the kid, the boy, is like clearly mentally disturbed. Like, And I mean,
She's clearly mentally disturbed.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no kid, manipulative as fuck too.
100%.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
They're
you
like-
read the
Although she's a powerful woman, I guess, though, with that kind of manipulation.
that's what I was gonna say. My hat's off to her in that regard. But woe to the man she sinks her fangs in.
But she's charged. What is she being
transcript.
charged with?
I think manslaughter, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's not charged. She's been convicted. She's going to jail, isn't she?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
it's done. She's out of here.
That's done.
Well, that is kind of crazy to me. I mean, well, first off, I'm just one of those people. I don't have much sympathy for people that off themselves, but it's for her to be convicted because of her just simply telling him to do something and he was dumb enough to do it. I mean,
I think
was
it
his
was
choice.
more. I think it was more. She knew he was in the act of killing himself and didn't notify anybody more so than, like, she knew it was going down in the moment and didn't call the police or anything like that.
And I think it was more a measure of how fucking far she took it. Like, read the transcripts. Like, it goes to a point where she is literally like getting like supervillain status on it. And there again, this one was, it is definitely a gray area. But if he'd bombed,
It is a great. It's kind of like killing people is really bad, but when you get to the level of Hitler, you got to kind of go, oh, he's pretty good at it.
Is it
my
an
hat's
evil
off to
gray
the
area?
Like,
It's an evil gray area.
That's what I said.
is there any gender fluid in the gray area? Is that how that works? Like,
All right. Well, that's that. She's going away.
Yeah.
So
but I don't know. It's fucking nuts. Check it. Read the transcript. Like, it's
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that because this is the first I've even heard of it. But
yeah, there's one side note to that. I don't mean to fucking keep people on, but they talk about like the accomplice aspect to it. What about those kids in I think they were in Florida that watched that dude walk into that lake last week or week before, and then videotaped him, like live streamed that dude drowning in a lake and didn't call the cops, didn't do anything about it. Did you guys hear about those kids?
I didn't hear about that one.
no.
Yeah, these kids, they recorded it. The videos are on Facebook. They're pretty chilling. These kids are just fucking, they're laughing as this guy who's clearly distressed walks into this fucking, it looks like a fucking golf pond or something. But he gets out in the middle, clearly is drowning. He's yelling for help, and they're just like, no, we're not helping you. And they're like laughing and making jokes. And he goes under the water and was found like 4 or 5 hours later. And these kids were not charged for declining calling. They were looked at as shitty people, like they were not encouraged, but they were not charged. So if they're gonna set the precedent that you don't have to call if somebody's in danger, I don't know how they can get this chick on that.
Yep.
So that's there again, just not helping.
Well, but they're not helping, but they're not manipulating.
They didn't tell him to walk into the pond. This is true. They didn't say, hey, dude, walk in there and go drown yourself.
Yeah, that's a case-by-case basis. I mean, if you take a group of innocent kids that are watching some guy kill himself, they're like, what the fuck? Versus somebody that's like, kill yourself.
Yeah. My wife brought up the point, like, imagine being these kids' parents, of those kids or these kids that we're just talking about. Imagine being the mom and dad of the chick that fucking talks this kid into killing himself. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I feel bad for, man.
Talk about feeling like a failure as a parent.
Yeah, shit would be changing. I'd be moving states. Oh, man.
You disown her? You would disown her, right?
No, I'd probably just let her go to an institution. I'd visit her on Christmas, but, I wouldn't.
Oh, Jesus.
I'd give her a
Because if I
stern
disown her,
talking
then she's
to.
coming for me next. So I got to stay on her good side. I mean, shit.
I think it takes many years of being a bad parent to have a bad egg like that.
Yeah, hopefully
That's true. Yeah.
It takes shooting up heroin when they're 4 years old. This is what you get.
Right.
Keep an eye on that kid, everybody.
God,
Fuck yeah.
can tie a hell of a knot, but
That's the moral of today's show. Just keep an eye on your fucking kids.
And don't copycat.
And don't...
Now,
do your
full
own
circle.
thing, Mr. Original. All right. I want to thank
Fuck
everybody
yeah,
for
guys.
coming on. Everybody, it was a great episode. We're running over an hour now. It's perfect.
fuck yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Hell yeah!
Well-
Thanks for coming on, everyone.
Anytime. Absolutely.
hey, John,
Yes, ma'am.
man,
Yeah, man.
Do you mind if I plug something? It's not for my own personal benefit.
No, go ahead. If I decide it's not relevant, I'll edit it out. But go ahead. Say anything you want.
Well, let's hope it is. I just wanted to mention Nathan Gray.
Yeah.
He's got a book from his new Grayscale publishing house. He's got a new book called Many Mysterious Monsters. I think it is a great idea, and I'm behind it 100%. And I think he's having a little bit of trouble getting the word out there and getting everything started up so he can fully fund it. So if everyone could go check it out, it's at Grayscale Publishing House, and it's GRAYSKALE. On Facebook, look it up. You can pre-order the book. I think it's a great thing to get behind.
I'm getting mine this weekend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, can I plug something for my own benefit?
Yeah, anybody, please
Absolutely.
plug it. Yeah, definitely.
Robert's
Absolutely.
already off the call, right? So okay. You know?
I have a Heidi Nights has a new fan-only page. OnlyFans, it's called. What's it? It's like Heidi Nights at OnlyFans or OnlyFans.com/Heidi Nights, where it's like $10 a month, right? Yeah. And obviously Dave set this up because I'm asking him about it. But and like we're putting all kinds of new content up there and stuff that was previously only available on Clips for Sale. So for $10 a month, you can get access to like all of our Heidi Nights stuff. And we have a new, we've got a few new clips coming out. And in the next one that's coming out, Heidi Nights actually gets spanked. So that's a rarity.
Damn.
Can you spell for everyone that might not know Heidi Nights? Can you spell that for everyone?
Yes, it's spelled HeideNYTES.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Heidi Nights is on Twitter and Facebook and now on fansonly.com. OnlyFans.com. OnlyFans.com.
Nice.
Stupid dyslexic moment.
Awesome. How about you, Hydra? You got anything?
Well, I would just like to say that I'm an American and cultural appropriation is my culture.
Yeah.
And none of you should kill yourselves. Other than that, go to hydramstar.com.
And get the
Everything
latest
about
issue
me
of
is there.
Infernal Ink magazine. It's the best
Yes.
one yet. It's
Hell
the
yeah.
best one ever.
There's links to all of that on my website. Just go there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Anyone else? Raul, what do you got?
I'm good.
Will? What about Will?
Oh man, I've been plugged this whole time. But no, I actually
Scandinavia.com.
made my fucking authorship debut in that. So pick it up. My short story Indigenous is in there. It's like a homage to the 70s cannibal movie genre. It's pretty brutal, and then there's a whole bunch of other awesome stuff in there too. Like could go on all night, but yeah, check that out.
Yes, we rape culture all throughout.
Yes. Sweet rape culture.
All right. Awesome. Adam, you got anything you want to plug and or let out of the bag for next week? Anything?
No, not yet. No, we're gonna have a really good show next week. I'll just say that. So tune in.
Woo!
I want to announce it just to see if we get a copycat.
Yeah.
Go on record. Get the timestamp now.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
Timestamp
Next
now.
week on Dudley No is going to be Magistrate, Templey Rex, Blanche Barton.
Ooh.
Nice.
Going to talk about some old fun stories about Anton and the Black House.
Yeah.
Yes.
No more blood and pus in the ice cream.
That's
I don't drink milk. It's got blood in it.
I know. Actually, we have to do that episode over. Anyway.
I was actually eating ice cream when she was talking about that. It was hilarious.
Delicious.
Didn't even slow down.
Yep. Breyer's chocolate. I love it.
chocolate, blood and pus.
All right. Everybody wants to hit stop on this damn thing. So let's get going, guys. I'll see you up on online. Later.
Fuck yeah.
All right.
Nice.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan.
Don't say-
Satan.